Hi Sasha.
Hey.
Would you mind to tell me something about this golden Zieh-Fix?
Sure. Well, This was the 10,000 Zieh-Fix which my father got from the employees in order to remind him or to honor that we have produced 10,000 Zieh-Fix until then. I will now also.
Yes, of course.
Thank you. And, well, as we are on it, let me tell you a little bit about the tool, and as it's also the first tool, let me tell you something about the history of the company.
Okay, I'm excited.
Did you know that this company, or before we had the van company, we produced racing motorcycles?
I'm not sure. Maybe you could tell me something more about it.
Yes, well, we produced racing motorcycles, and we also had a racing style or a racing team, and we even won a few races. And yeah, at one point we needed to move because our workshop got too small, and we moved to this location. We are still in here. And at this point we found that one door was closed, and we called a locksmith to open it. Or my father called a locksmith to open it. And the locksmith came, he destroyed the whole door, made like 600 holes into it, and then asked for 600, at this point, Deutsche Mark, and which is roughly, or if you translate it now, it would be like 500, 300, 500 euro. And yeah, my father, if you know him, he was a little bit smaller. He got very angry and asked the locksmith if there isn't another way to do it without destroying the whole door, without asking for so much money. And the locksmith then just said no, there is no other way. And this basically stuck with my father. And after another race, my father and a few engineers sit together and thought about this problem with the lock and the locksmith. And after a few years, they came to the idea, or they found out, look, we have a hole inside the cylinder, so why don't we put a screw in it and just try to pull it out of the door? And well, my father wasn't so happy when suddenly one of the engineers jumped up, took a very expensive tool used for building the motorbikes, cut off the legs of the tool and redesigned it in a way that we can fit a screw in it, and then just put a screw in the lock, pulled on it, and the lock got destroyed. So everyone was happy, everyone had a few more beers, and on the next day they were like, okay, just let us try a little bit more. Let us go to this hardware store, let us get a few locks from different brands and try again. And they tried with 20, 30 different locks, and all of these locks just make crack, opened, door was open. And they were thinking, okay, we are onto something, but let us just do a patent. Let's see where it goes. Basically, they had to do a patent because they know from the motorbikes, if you don't have a patent, there will be one in 1 or a half year, and just do the same as you are doing. So they did the patent, put the tool on the side, made of the prototype of the tool on the side, and said, okay, let's focus on bikes now. We solved this problem. It's done. It was a nice side project, and let's move on. After a few weeks, the patent lawyer called and basically told my father, I don't know what you have done. I've put the patent on, and during my research I found out there isn't a tool like this in the whole world. You really should try to market it. And what did they do? Well, they copied a few 1,000, or they did a picture of the tool, made a text on it, get about 1,000 copies, printed on a label printer, a few different addresses from 1,000 locksmiths around the Cologne area, and just sent the letters out. And to their surprise, about 90% of these letters came back with the answer, I want to buy this tool. And so suddenly they need to stop to work on all the different motorbikes they had in the workshop and produce this tool en masse. And this got so bad that they basically thought, okay, we have to stop doing motorbikes altogether and just do this tool.
Okay, so were there any difficulties during the development process?
During the development process itself, there weren't so many difficulties as far as I know. So it was quite straightforward. They improved on the design a lot. So if you want, we can check on a few of the prototypes.
Of course.
So in the office of my brother, we have all of the different prototype stages. And you can see it all started with the one on the back and then got improved and improved until we got to the end final result. And yeah, what can I say more? This is how the product got to life. And yeah.
So we have many prototypes.
We had many prototypes. For such a small tool, we had many prototypes and we improved on it even afterwards, even more. With every sale and every new production, we improved on it.
Okay, that's great. So keep going. And the one tool we have here is now the end result.
The one I have here is the end result. And yeah, we made sure it's a lot harder to break the screws because this was the biggest problem. And that's all we did on improvement, even to this one, which doesn't have the flexible legs, the old golden one. So even after 10,000 produced parts, we still did improvements on it.
And where do we produce the tool now?
This tool is still getting produced in our own production area downstairs. Mm-hmm. We don't produce that many anymore. We mainly produce for the old clients, which basically was early adopters of this tool, because we don't like the idea that someone who...
Yeah, you can put it off.
We don't like the idea that someone who helped the company or invested in tools with his companies over 30 years ago, we are not now telling him, look, you can't buy the main product you bought from us 30 years ago, you can't buy anymore. So me, my brother, and even my father before, we made the decision that even if you would only have to produce like 10 per year, we would still do it in order to help or support these clients who, well, started the business actually.
Could you also maybe tell me with this example how the Zieh-Fix kind of works?
With this example, it's not so easy because it's not actually done for working. As you can see, it's not the right materials. Mm-hmm. But if you can see, we put on the screw through the Zieh-Fix itself. We put the screw into the lock, and this one is a queso. I don't know if it's a 2000 or even before. I think it's a 2000. And well, afterwards we just screw on these different screws and pull the core out, or we break it. Mm-hmm. In this case, with the queso, we are not able to break in the middle because they produce this special material area down here where they connect both elements or both sides of the lock. So we had to get out only the plug or only the core. So this is why we started to produce also the core pulling plate. And then we just pull out the core and go directly to the mechanics and open the lock.
Okay, and what would you say would be the best time to use the Zieh-Fix?
Whenever a door is closed and isn't protected against pulling, you should always use a Zieh-Fix or one of the later models like the Zieh-Fix bell puller.
Okay. Do you have anything else to say about the golden Zieh-Fix. And now, just for reference, not every Zieh-Fix is gold, right? Okay,
no, all
unfortunate.
Zieh-Fix from us are normally the silver color, and which is a special plating to make sure that it's not going to corrode, I think is the English word. Yeah, that's all.
Okay, so I would not receive a golden Zieh-Fix.
Yeah, but every Zieh-Fix, and this is something the golden one doesn't have, every Zieh-Fix has a unique number on it, which basically tells us which Zieh-Fix went where and who bought it and everything.
Okay, great. Thank you so much for your information.
You're welcome.